Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Netherwar Broken Strings. Thank you for joining us for your weekly dose of superhero shenanigans. My name is Alex, and I will continue to be your humble game master for this series. Tonight, we will be playing Mutants Masterminds, which is the world's greatest superhero RPG, produced by Green Ronin Publishing. It is a D20 system that focuses on exciting superhero action with a character creation system which offers unlimited customization options to create your perfect superhero. One thing I also really enjoy is the use of hero points to encourage players to really push their characters beyond their limits. These points can be used for rerolls, player scene editing, even modifying or improving a character's powers in a pinch. They're earned by leaning into genre tropes, acting heroically, good role playing, jokes I think are funny, and suffering setbacks just like superheroes in other media. And from you, the folks at home. If you like or subscribe to the show during the stream, you are able to send a hero point over to the hero of your choice. Or me, if you're feeling particularly malicious. We have gathered some marvelous heroes tonight. Say howdy, heroes.
Howdy, heroes.
I want to give everyone a chance to tell us a little bit about themselves, the character they will be playing, where else we can find them, and have them answer my question of the day, which is, what fictional characters have you had a crush on over the years? Starting with Andy.
Ooh, okay. Hi, I'm Andy. I am here on Mutants and Masterminds Monday for Netherwar. As you can find me here. You can also find me over on our YouTube channel for our Storyforge series. You can also find some of my blog posts over on our website, which is untoldstoriesproject.com. I've got some GM's advice things and some character vignettes from the first character I played on a stream, which is from our Titan City stuff. So you can go check that out if you are at all interested. Tonight, I am continuing to play Resonant, our resident gem mage. And characters that I have had a crush on over the year that are fictional. Well, we're going to step right into the Star Wars expanded universe and go with Mirax Tarek and Mara Jade. Those were two of the most badass Star Wars women that I absolutely wanted to go on adventures with when I was reading those books. Who am I passing it to, Alex? Because we're going random today.
You're going over to Calvin.
Okay.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Well, hey, everybody, I'm Calvin. And today I will be playing Bowman, the awesome archer with an incredible array of trick arrows in his arsenal. And a sidekick now, apparently. Yeah, of course, like I'm here every Monday playing Mutants and Masterminds and having a blast with it. I'm also over on the Win with Dice channel doing weekly GM tip and campaign recap podcasts where we just talk about previous games and our experience playing and running them, and hopefully say something insightful and useful, although it is a lot of just rambling. For the question of the day, which fictional characters? So I was trying to think of a character that wasn't from a cartoon, but man, nothing was coming.
I have cartoon ones, so go for
Okay,
that.
cool. I mean, I don't know. I was thinking Totally Spies, but that felt like a cop-out answer. I did recall, because I saw a bit of this when I was younger, the detective from Gargoyles, Elisa.
Lisa Montoya.
Yeah, that was... I see you in the chat, Alex. I mean, Totally Spies is a classic.
It was a good show.
Physics were weird, but...
It came out at the right time for me.
No!
That's probably true for a lot of people. But yeah, just, of course, the adventurous types who do something cool, and yeah, you want to just be a part of that world. Also, Livewire from the Superman animated series. That one too. When I think of a real life person, I'll add that in.
I was expecting the man crush on Dom, but
No. Well, I mean, it was growing up, right? So I was trying to think of stuff when I was younger.
Aren't we all still growing up in some way, shape, or form?
Well, technically, that's true.
I've completely abandoned all attempts to grow up.
There is that too, yes.
I am remaining at this mental age for the rest of my life.
What are you, 12? Yes.
Good enough for me.
Mentally. Yeah, so I guess that I'll add Dom to my answer then. And I will pass it over to, do I go back up to the top with Kevin then, or?
Yeah, go to
I
Kevin.
don't know. Okay. I'll pass it up to Kevin.
Okay, my name is Kevin. I'm here on Mondays for Mutants and Masterminds Monday, and every other day of the week, I'm gaming somewhere else, offline. But no, I'm just kidding. Yeah. So I am playing Overdrive, the real one this time. I was having my own identity crisis for about the last 2 months, but now I'm definitely Overdrive. Pressure on fictional characters. Well, I don't know. I've just loved every iteration of Wonder Woman there is. I don't know what that is, cartoon or live action. It's just amazing. In a weird sort of, is that a cousin thing? Like then there was Troya, Donna Troy, Wonder Girl, whatever she's calling herself this week. I've also had this weird, like, ultra pure or ultra evil fascination. Like as a kid and one of the old geezers here, growing up watching like Buck Rogers and Battlestar Galactica and V, the original, like Cassiopeia and Athena from Battlestar Galactica, Princess Ardala, something about that bad girl from Buck Rogers. Colonel Deering was very attractive, but she was just a little too, oh, Buck, you're so amazing. Like, no, you can't expect it. And Diana from V, back in the day. Saucy. And her counterpart, Julie, on the Good Guys team. Like, again, there's that, I don't know what that was, but there it was. I was kind of a whore as a kid. That's terrible. Okay, anyway, over to you, Jonesy.
Hi everyone, I am Jonesy. Tonight I will be playing Mortis, our resident necromancer / gateway to the underworld. And you can find me, and other than on Mondays playing Mortis, you can find me here on Tuesday nights running our Blue Rose 5e game, Hills of the Finest. And as far as the question of the day, the oldest one I can go back and remember when I was a young lad was Wonder Woman as portrayed by Linda Carter on the TV show. And then, yeah, and as I got older, I realized I was more of a crush that I wanted to hang out with her and be her best friend and not do anything else. But a certain vampire from the Lost Boys was my first, like, oh, him, yeah, okay. So yeah. Other than that, I love Roy Harper. I have a crush on him. He's a redhead and a hot mess. So what's not to love? Kat, up to you.
All right, hey, I'm Kat. I'm playing Centuria per the usual. When I'm not here, I'm usually working or in school, but I do have a whole month off coming up, so I'm pretty excited for that. I prepared for this question. I have a list.
Wow.
With footers and footnotes and.
No, I should have uploaded photos. I should have done that, but I did not.
After stream, we have to see them.
Oh God.
So, my first one was Shang from Mulan, because, dang. And then Sokka and Zuko from the Avatar. Sirius Black from Harry Potter. The Duke of Hastings from Bridgerton. Spider-Man, but specifically Tom Holland's Spider-Man. And then my newest one is Yelena from the Black Widow, because.
Yes.
And then I just added Overdrive on there because I was like, hey, why not?
Hey, where's Cody on this list? Huh? Come on.
No, Cody
Don't
doesn't.
fight it, girl. Don't fight it.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Cody
that's-
popped out.
One of them was left behind.
I can't control him. Hey, there's a Cody in this universe, right? It's all good.
There were a lot of Codys in this universe just a couple weeks ago.
Too many
We clean that
Codys.
mess up. We clean that mess up.
Crate full of Codys.
Crate full of Codys.
Last night's game, I had to tell Brett, you're officially an internet meme now. Everyone is laughing about the crates. And just hate-filled glare.
Amazing.
He wins a quarter every time I say it. I say, good luck with that.
There's a lot of copyright lawyers in your group of Crimson Hand.
I know, right? Oh my God. We were talking about too when you were running the game for the Green Ronin crew, Alex, how the chat moderator is like, man, the chat really seems to be concerned about the number of crates.
Yeah.
It was mostly Jason and I stirring the pot.
How many? So many. Just a lot. Just a few. And I'm Alex. I'm the GM. I hang out here mostly online, and I guess you could see me on Mutants and Masterminds Monday too, where I talk about Mutants and Masterminds with my friend Steve and Crystal. They're awesome. As for my answer to the question of the day, I have had romantic feelings for many fictional characters in my life. That's probably why I'm an author now. Miranda Lawson from Mass Effect was probably my first real big one, but there's also Yennefer from The Witcher, and Lestat from Anne Rice's universe has always been very interesting to me. Similar to Strahd, if we're picking D&D characters, I've always had a crush on Strahd because he's amazing, even though he's horrible and predatory and real bad for the people he's in a relationship with. But
I don't see the problem.
Wow.
I can fix him.
Love those dictators.
We love a good dictator.
Oh my god, I forgot Arctic Fox!
That proves you don't really love him.
Dude, I wasn't thinking D&D.
Arctic Fox
You thought of Overdrive.
Yeah, that was a joke.
Oh, okay.
Totally.
Ow.
Yeah.
Just put
You
it
That's
in.
wounded
still, less
Kevin.
hurtful that's still less hurtful than you forgetting Cody for me.
Oh, also the devil from Bedazzled, Elizabeth Hurley. Pretty much anybody with dark hair and a British accent that could hurt my feelings.
Wait, isn't that everyone with a British accent?
That's my type.
It's my time.
Awesome. So yeah, without further ado, I guess we can go ahead and get started. I completely forgot to write down what happened last week. So last week on Mutants Masterminds Monday, without further ado,
That's not what it's called.
our heroes did a lot last week. A lot came up last week. Stuff happened.
Unpacking last week's episode is a whole thing.
Yeah, that's a whole mess. There was the heroes dealing with the explosion of Bolt, who has become Thunderbolt without his containment suit once more, dealing with trying not to blow up everything in Freedom Hall, which they were able to successfully do.
You need a containment suit for his heart. Isn't that right, Centuria?
He's gonna need a lot more than a containment suit for that.
Unfortunately.
He's gonna need at least.
It blew up multiple episodes before that.
He at least needs an ice pack. Then our heroes ran off to go rescue their NPCs who had been stranded in Emerald City after escaping from the Speedster prison. On their way out there, they also entered the Speedster prison and realized that Overdrive was the only Speedster left, as far as they knew, as far as they could tell. They found a strange AI in this meatpacking plant that was a preserver named AI named Fantasia, who tried to make friends with Bo, who had lied to her about what kind of Bo he was. Monster.
Well, I mean, come on.
And she showed Centuria that she was responsible for Overlord. A Fantasia from another universe tricked Centuria into transferring the essence of Death Race into the body of her deceased Dave. And the trauma of the event scrambled Centuria's eggs a little bit, and she forgot exactly what happened. So that was a lot. And then they set a trap for Overdrive's father, who arrived in a jeep, stating that he no longer had his speed, and he had been trying to get a hold of a Dave that he could make amends with due to his ongoing illness. Speedster cancer, I believe, was the word that was used in the chat, where his powers were devouring him and he was going to no longer be, and he was trying to make amends before he passed on. Which was a very touching scene and confusing scene after the group jumped him and froze him in a block of ice and punched him in the face.
Like he didn't. Yeah.
He probably deserved it. I don't know. He hasn't done anything evil to you guys on camera yet.
Oh.
Yeah,
There's that qualifier.
I'm just going to use yet at the end of every sentence. And then, after the longest Wednesday ever, the group returned to Freedom City. And they've had 2 weeks of downtime to sort of adjust to some of the information that they've gotten and tried to get back to their normal lives a little bit after quite an extended period of hustle and bustle, which is where we start. I'm just going to sort of go around the table and I'm have everybody talk about what they've been up to for the last 2 weeks, and maybe we'll do a little scene if something feels appropriate, starting with Calvin.
Okay. Well, I think probably the primary thing that Fletch is worried about is that upcoming date with Sophie. 2 days after the long Wednesday, so he's probably gonna have to spend a lot of time resting up to get ready for that. He does have some very big things planned for that, which he hopes she will be into. It'll be either super fancy or super chill, depending on how things go. I don't know if we want to play that out, but also one other thing that is very important to him is that he is aware that Jason, of course, was just recently in a whole lot of danger, and specifically because of him. Like, Jason wouldn't have been in the quiver in the first place if Fletch hadn't grabbed this kid off the street, brought him into this superhero life, not in like indirectly put a crossbow in his hands and, you know, put him on, yeah, kidnapped. Just, you know, put him on a plate for, I see you in the chat there. I just put him on a plate for some evil speedsters to kidnap. So probably the first thing he'll do, because he's probably going to do that the moment Jason gets back, is he's going to probably dismiss him at No, I don't have a kidnap arrow, at least
That's
not yet.
rough. That's rough.
But no, once Jason gets back, Fletch is going to be making it very clear that this partnership is going to be dissolved because he did not sign up to be a kid at risk.
Jason does not take that well.
I assume he wouldn't, but Fletch would be very resolute at this conclusion. Certainly, at the moment they're having this conversation, he's unmoving. He's sticking to his guns at this moment because, like, I think part of him sees part of himself in this kid as well. He doesn't want to take away this kid's childhood just to make him into a superhero. He doesn't want to put this kid's life at risk. He doesn't want this kid to go through, like, having to worry about supervillains.
Don't rob him of the chance to grow up and work at Jiffy Lube.
Exactly. He shouldn't have to worry about supervillains before he finishes high school.
Have you been to high school?
He does.
I said supervillains.
Oh, okay, okay.
So he does leave after you browbeat him, but he does make sure to. There's one panel of him looking at the door of the Arrow Cave, and he says, "It's okay. Most people get rid of me when it gets hard."
Ooh.
Oh, God.
Calvin!
Well, maybe
slams
Boom
the
and
door.
then Centuria can form a club.
Yeah, welcome.
Well, I guess I have a brief question for you, GM. Did he leave the crossbow behind?
Roll a perception
Because
check.
Fletch would have been. Okay, yeah. I figured that's how it would have gone.
Where's Jason's
gosh.
stats?
I have my sheet open.
We'll roll a cheeky sleight of hand check.
You realize this is how we get Red Hood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know he's like, Calvin know he's probably gonna go off and do something crazy, but oh man.
You see him clearly trying to take it with him. It's up to you if you let him take it.
Great, now Calvin feel bad. Fletch is going to say, leave the crossbow behind.
Oh.
That's probably going to be the last thing he says to him.
He drops it on the ground. I'll go make my own crossbow with blackjack and hookers.
And there'll be a very dramatic framing of the panel that's close up on the crossbow with Fletch in the background, backlit by the bow computer as Jason is in the foreground walking away.
Brutal. Brutal, brutal, brutal.
And then 2 days after that, he has to deal with going on this super important date.
There's a weird close up of the crossbow shedding a tear.
Oh no! Why did I build this crossbow to feel?
That's glorious. That's glorious.
I was going to make a tear gas arrow, but I ran out of letters.
It's just a tear arrow. So yeah, dealing with that date, and also something that should have been dealt with a while back, which was after we figured out the whole Emmett Snyder was actually being mind controlled by a supervillain thing. Just passing that information on to the press so we can clear the custodian project of any suspicion.
Excellent. So where do you take Sophie on your nice fancy date?
Well,
On date number 1, according to Bowman.
well. Since the first time didn't count because it wasn't an official request, and also it got interrupted by supervillains, which I assume this one won't. So what his original plan was something very I'm ignoring chat now. His original plan was something very classy. First, it starts off with a nice dinner with a reservation at the Starlight Room, and then that will be followed up by a show at the Goodrich Theater. Maybe, I don't know, some sort of new, cool hip-hop musical all the kids are into or something like that. Just classic dinner and a show kind of thing. Or if that's not her steez, then just going clubbing at the Eclipse nightclub because it's in Southside, and maybe that fits her. Maybe that fits her a bit better. I don't know what Sophie would be into.
Excellent. So, she
Wow. Wow. That is a harsh pull. Harsh but fair.
She is leaving it up to you.
Cool. Yeah, let's do the fancy thing. He's got a lot of ground to make up right now.
She is surprised that you were able to get tickets for this particular play. And she seems to be having a good time. What are you chatting about as you're hanging out?
It's probably talking about. You might make conversation about the show or something like that. He does not want to talk about recent incidents and everything that's been going on in the city. So he's for sure going to be trying his best at steering the conversation away from that. So we'll be talking about I don't even know what they're seeing. I don't know, musicals. It'll be Hamilton 2, Eliza's Revenge, or something like that. Yeah, and then he's I didn't know they made a sequel.
I lived, you died, I told your story.
So, yeah, definitely talking about that. Probably also talking about stuff to do with Project Custodian. Just making sure Sophie is aware of what happened, obfuscating how he knows these things. Probably just pretending it's from his connection to his father's paper that he's aware of this information. Just to make sure Sophie's in the clear. I see how that poll went. It was not an official date. I don't care that the answer's in all caps.
I didn't even see the poll, so I definitely would have voted for that.
Yeah, I didn't get to vote in that poll.
I mean, Calvin, it's not even it's in all caps. It's the Kool-Aid Man. Oh yeah, as he breaks through the wall.
I mean, it was a date.
I guess. But yeah, that's probably the important things to cover. But other than that, definitely trying to keep the conversation, light and fun. He certainly needs to relax, and he's aware that, Southside just blew up not too recently, so Sophie probably wants to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. And she does seem relaxed. She seems a little less snarky than usual, which you're not sure if that's a good sign or not.
He is going to attempt to make a fun joke of some kind. I'm sure he can come up with one that I can't.
Don't tell her dad joke. Don't tell her dad joke.
And after the show, after dinner, she asks you to take her back to her place in the South Side.
Yep.
Which you have seen from a gargoyle across the street.
So he knows exactly where it is. But yeah, he will, just take her back home. Try to be, I don't know, like polite about it. I'm just trying to figure, like, I don't know how like driving moods work. He's not going to be like driving crazy or anything. He's just going to be like a relaxed drive through the city. Again, trying to keep things like, they've both had quite a stressful week recently. So,
And she will invite you up for a cup of coffee.
he will accept that. You'll head up with her.
Awesome. And you come up into her place. It's a very nice, sort of open concept apartment in Southside. Nice brick walls, very little furniture, a few bookshelves around. And she heads off into the back. She says, "I'll be back in just a second. I'll get the drinks and bring them back in." You have a few
Okay.
moments alone.
He is probably instantly going to snap into like analysis mode just as a reflex. Try to learn as much as he can about her by scanning the room without actually touching anything.
Give me an investigation check.
You got it. 20 total.
You see a couple of things with your 20 total. You do see she has a number of books. A lot of them are about sort of like civic planning, urban planning, stuff like that. You do see a couple of books that you think you saw in Gemma's store about New Age healing and the occult, various magical things. And then over at the front closet, you think you see a little bit of red cloth sticking out of the door jamb.
The front closet.
Mm-hmm. As you're looking over that way, you think the cloth is moving just a little bit.
Okay, well that definitely gets his curiosity. He is going to move towards it silently and carefully. He's not going to open it yet, but he's going to try to see if he can get like a better angle and see what's inside there.
Yeah, as you get a little bit closer to the closet, sort of trying to quietly make your way over, you do see that this red cloth is definitely moving in a way that isn't just the wind moving it. And you think you see like some intricate black and gold stitchwork on it.
Really
Without opening the door, you're not sure if you'll see anything else.
How long has she been gone at this point?
Just a few moments.
Can I attempt to like stealthily peek into the thing?
You can attempt to.
Oh man.
Sorry,
no, he wouldn't turn away from something piquing his curiosity like this. Yeah, he's gonna try to just like open the door just slightly, like an inch or two, just to like lean over and take a peek.
All right, high or low?
Oh god, that's what we're doing. I thought I would have to make a stealth check. Oh no.
Damon didn't get a third date.
Okay, I'm gonna risk it for a chocolate biscuit. Let's go high.
Oh no!
No.
So I got good news, I've got bad news.
Okay.
Which do you want first?
I don't know. Let's get the bad news first.
The bad news is the thing in the closet is going to escape from the closet.
Cool. But the good news is that it's harmless?
Sophie hasn't come back yet.
Oh, okay. I can work with that, depending on what this thing is.
So you open the door just a couple of inches, and you see the red cloth slip back under the door real fast, and you hear a rustling inside, and the closet door explodes open, and a flying cape emerges from the closet, and it sort of looks around in a disembodied sort of way and slams through the window opposite, out into the city skyline, flying away.
It just crashes through the window?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He is just like stunned, just caught completely by surprise. He did not expect living Kate to be in her apartment. So he's just there, in a bit of shock. He will eventually take a few steps away from the closet door as he's trying to recollect himself.
Give me a deception check as Sophia comes back into the room.
Where is there it is. I don't know. I'm saving that hero point just in case, so I'll take that 14. Okay, yeah.
So you're trying to play it cool, and she comes in. She's got a decanter of bourbon, you think, with her, and a couple of glasses with ice in them. And she says, she looks at the broken window, she looks at you, and she looks at the open closet door. And her smiling demeanor just drops into almost like a vicious, venomous look. You just go through people's stuff at people's houses all the time, Fletch?
No. Do you have living pieces of fabric hanging around your house all the time, Sophie?
Occasionally.
Right. Look, not to judge or anything, but I think one of your coats came to life or something over there.
Did it now?
I mean, I sure didn't break the window. Do I look like the kind of guy who goes crashing through windows and skylights or something?
Roll an insight check.
Maybe you should have just said that you broke the window.
I mean...
There was a moth.
There's a big one.
There was a big moth.
Spider.
I was trying to get it for you. Gosh, that's another 14 for my insight.
She doesn't react to you asking if you look like the kind of guy to crash through windows or skylights often.
Okay.
She says, "Well, I think this is probably a good note for you to leave."
Maybe well, hang on a second. Wait a minute here. You have a living thing that was trapped in your closet and then it escaped.
Yeah, and you're friends with a guy who's really good at shooting arrows. It's Freedom City. Get used to it.
So that's just normal for you then?
There's nothing normal about the world we live in. But now I've got to go get my cloak.
Do you need a hand with that? It seemed pretty fast. We could use my car if you want.
No, I'll manage.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it'll come back when it's hungry.
Oh, it eats. The flying cloak thing eats. Of course it does.
But what?
It doesn't eat like human flesh or anything, right?
It drinks the blood of the innocent. Now get out.
Oh well, I got nothing to worry about then.
Wow.
Well, hey, I'll I can send you some money for the window at least.
No, it's okay. I don't need your money, Fledge.
No, I just mean, just as a favor sort of thing.
Yeah, I'll see you at the interview with your buddy Dave.
Okay. I guess I'll see you there and maybe see you again another time.
Mm-hmm.
As he looks at the window. I mean, look, other than the cloak thing, which, gotta admit, I don't feel like I'm the weird one in this room right now. I don't think that. I think we had a decent time tonight, and I kind of like to do that again.
Next time we go to your place.
For sure. None of my
If there's a
clothing
next
is
time.
alive. Okay. Well, I won't push. I will simply make my exit. And you have a good night.
She slams the door behind you.
He is going to walk away and, I don't know, probably just mumble something to himself. The last thing I needed tonight was magic.
That's what that feels like. All right, good job, Bowman. So you had a rough couple of weeks. The one thing that she did, I didn't bring up, is that she does want to have an interview with New Horizon Media to throw off some of the bad press related to Emmett Snyder.
Cool.
She figures that you could set that up with your good buddy Dave.
Okay, well then I will have to reach out to my good buddy Dave.
Bewitched. All right, perfect. Mortis, what have you been up to for the last couple of weeks?
Mortis has been spending time with Nick, and enjoying downtime. Since Mortis's full-time job now is as a member of the Freedom League, it gives him a little bit more time to spend with Nick. And during the course of that week, they've also been dealing with contractors and subcontractors as they work on finishing getting the bar remodeled so they can open it. Other than that, he does plan a surprise date night for Nick. He will take Nick out to a drive-in.
Ooh.
And they will watch a movie and do the whole, like, he rents a convertible as opposed to the van, so they can put the top down and watch the movie under the stars. And then we'll take him out to the Machine, which is the big gay dance club in Freedom City, and they will go dancing and just have a relatively nice time.
That's excellent. You have a much better time than Centuri had at the drive-in.
True.
Construction is going along well. The contractors that you've been hiring have been doing a lot of good work, getting a lot of stuff done for the fees that you've been paying them. Nick has been doing well with with being kidnapped by a supervillain, but his dad was a supervillain, so it's kind of old hat for him at this point. Nick does. When you guys get home, he does ask you if Centuri is going to be okay with everything that's been going on.
I don't know, to be honest. With everything going on, I don't know. I'm going to do my best to be there for her, but the whole multiple overdrive thing is very odd. I know we've been looking at various ways that we can try to get a body for her Dave, so he's out of the action figure. But I've got some calls out, but that's obviously not my area of expertise. As far as, like, if they can get a body, I can help maybe facilitate moving the soul. But I think me going full on Dr. Frankenstein will probably not go over well. And
No, Daedalus probably wouldn't like that. Since he's your boss now or whatever?
Yeah, that's so weird to think about, but yeah. My hope is that maybe Daedalus can help convince the Atom family to maybe clone us a body. I think it's a thing that they can do. I don't know.
I wonder if that's okay. I mean, I don't work for the Freedom League. If you need me to steal a body, I could probably do that.
I'd rather you didn't. Just in general, yeah. I'd rather you didn't get into anything that would draw too much attention to you, since we have this weird legal status around you're paying taxes but you're not living. Yeah.
Well, if I was alive and not paying taxes, the government would have a bigger problem with it. I'm sure they're happy to take free money from a dead guy, and he takes the ring off and looks a little ghoulish for a second. It's too bad we can't just ask my dad. I'm sure he was really, really good at stealing bodies from graveyards and hospitals and prisons and elementary schools.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it looks down, and sometimes just grabbing people off the street. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'd rather not ask your dad.
We should ask Centuria if there's like a celebrity or something she wants us to put Dave's body in, or Dave's soul in.
I wonder if the Rock's available.
Dave walking around just cocking his eyebrow at everybody.
We'll get Vin Diesel.
Oh, I don't want Vin Diesel.
Yeah, we'll just steal James Marsden and put his face in there.
I'd be here for that.
I don't know. I just want to help her. I know this is a weird situation, and Tracy and Dave having a happy time together is probably not doing real well for her. Have you even seen her?
Not last couple days now.
Yeah, last thing we want is like a Supergirl running off to be all moody and destroy the world or whatever she could do. But that's tomorrow's problem. And you guys will go enjoy a nightcap after your wonderful date out at the drive-in and the dance club. In the morgue. Centuria, what have you been up to?
So Centuria has been pretty much doing everything possible to keep her mind off of all of the problems that she has. So she's been doing a lot of like side hero work, that kind of thing. And she's also been avoiding overdrive as much as she can. But she also wants to go and talk to Daedalus about trying to get a body for not only Davy, but she wants to try to get a body for Thunderbolt as well.
So you've been doing some side superhero work. You do come into Freedom Hall into Daedalus's lab, where he's got a couple of Cynthias working alongside him, trying to repair the damage that was done to the laboratory by Thunderbolt's explosion last week. And you see a couple of the Cynthias are off to the side. They've decided to take a break, and they're playing Uno together, not Una together.
Close enough.
And Daedalus has this big, big, massive electron drill, and he's got a bunch of magnifying lenses and things, and there's sparks coming off as he's welding things together. And he turns when you come in and lifts up his little Daedalus helmet flap. Oh, Kate, are you here to help with the cleanup?
Sure, but I also wanted to talk to you about something.
Oh, sure. Whatever's on your mind, kiddo.
So, as you know,
Here, pick that up. And he leans over to this big vat.
she'll pick it up. So, as you know, the Dave from my world soul is now in my doll. And I was wondering if you would put any thought to how to go about getting his soul out of there and maybe into a body.
Is that what's in that thing?
Did no one tell you that?
I've been here in the lab for the last couple of days trying to get this all sorted.
Oh, yes. So it's the soul of my husband.
Well, now I feel a little bit bad about making you leave it behind on the plane back in Vostrom.
Yeah, you didn't know. We didn't know. I didn't even know.
Did you ask him why he sniffs everything?
No, didn't think about it, honestly. But I also wanted to talk to you about Thunderbolt. Have we tried anything to help him get into a body? I feel horrible after what happened, and I know I should have been concerned about it before he turned human again, but...
Well, Kate, we have talked about it before. It's dangerous with his instability. And we put our minds together and we haven't found a solution to that problem just yet. Any moments that he's outside of the containment suit it's dangerous.
Have you talked to Mortis? Does he have a soul in there?
Have I talked to Mortis about it? No, I have not talked to Mortis about it. Put that down over here.
Well, it might be looking into, but if there's anything that
he hands you a flashlight. Shine this over here.
Okay. If there's anything I can do to help that effort, I would love to help. I feel horrible.
Well, transferring souls it's not really a scientific problem. It's a magical one, and it's not a safe or easy process. You never know what you're going to get in that transfer process. No, don't shine the light here. Shine it over here. No, where I'm pointing.
Sorry, Dad.
He says, you could talk to Mortis about it, but Mortis is he's the expert, so to say, but not by any accredited stretch of the imagination.
Well, for Dave, is there anything else you can think of? I'd rather not inconvenience the team with my problems.
We could put him in a computer like Dr. Adam is.
No.
But as far as moving his essence around, I only know how to digitize it. I could put him in a robot. Do you want him in a robot?
No. I would not be in a robot.
Is it, wouldn't that be better than a doll? Tell him I'm an action figure.
He said he's an action figure.
Well, he might be, but he's not exactly a moving around sort of action figure.
Would you prefer to be in a robot than the action figure, Davey?
It feels like apples and oranges.
He said it feels the same.
If it's a question of parts, I could make sure that the robot had the right parts. Kate, if that's what you're worried about.
Daedalus, no. Thank you. I actually think I just got a thing that I have to go do. So.
Well, wait a minute. I need you to hold that flashlight for a second.
And she'll put the flashlight, she'll pull a table over and put the flashlight on it so it's angling where he needs it to be, and then she'll leave.
I think this was a good talk.
She's already gone.
Yeah, and you keep flying around doing superhero stuff, trying to follow leads for how to possibly do that. You could talk to Mortis about it if you want during this 2 weeks.
Oh, she wants to bother Mortis. I feel like she's already felt like a burden since she's been here. She doesn't really want to make anyone else do anything else for her.
Too bad. Nick is going to invite you over for dinner.
I guess she'll go.
What is Nick's best dish?
Mac and cheese.
No. Unlike Mortis, Nick can actually cook.
It's Mortis's best. It's mac and cheese.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
French toast.
Nick will actually prepare some Cajun food, little crawfish and all that stuff.
Delicious. So yeah, Centuria, you get down to Mortis and Nick's house, and Nick's there to open the door. He's got an apron on. It's like a New Orleans style clear white plastic with a big lobster on the front of it.
I like your apron.
Thanks, Kate. Come on in. I like your buzz cut.
Thank you.
Your ink's pretty cool too.
Centuria is in like actual regular people clothes. She's in jeans and like a hoodie, and she has Davy in the hoodie.
You do see that Nick has prepared 4 spots at the table. There's one chair that's got a bunch of like phone books on it, with a spot for Davy.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a ghost. I get it.
She'll put Davy on the books and sit next to him. Thank you for inviting me over.
It's more of an insisting sort of thing. I know you're going through it, and you shouldn't be going through it by yourself. And I know Davy's been going through it too. It was a real brave thing he did.
I feel like he's had it a little bit worse than me. At least I have a body.
10 unread text messages from Gemma.
Sorry, Gemma.
Do they have a throat chakra emoji?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Mortis,
Nick will,
how have you been?
Yeah, Nick will bring food in and sit everybody down.
Yeah,
Well, I guess I call you Derek.
Mortis.
How have you been?
Doing pretty good. I know we've been working a lot, so I haven't really been in touch with most of the team as we've been working on the bar a lot, trying to get it all set up. But I have a little downtime. But I want to make sure we. And look, so he gets side-eyed at Nick. We wanted to make sure that you're doing okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm great. Thank you.
Has anyone told you that you're a really bad liar?
I didn't get much practice when I was alone, so. But I'm doing as well as I can be.
I mean, I guess that's to be expected, but if you need anything, me and Nick are here. I mean, we don't know exactly what you're going through, but I'm dating a ghost, so I kind of get some stuff, possibly.
Yeah, I suppose you're the closest to the situation.
So, I mean,
have you? I don't mean to bother you, but have you put any thought into? I know you had mentioned wanting to get Davy a body. Have you put any thought into that? No worries if you haven't.
We bought a shovel and everything, sweetie.
I would prefer not to kill anyone. Or
That's not what I was going to use the shovel for.
or dig up anyone that's already dead.
I promise he's not going to go Dexter on us. I mean, yeah, I have. I mean, there's a couple obstacles to doing that, but I mean, there are ways to do it. I mean, the biggest challenges would be finding a compatible host.
On an unrelated sort of note, have you ever Do you know if Ray has a soul?
You can't just ask people if they have souls, Kate.
I don't know, Alex. Do I know if Ray has a soul?
Ray does have a soul.
The answer I thought, but yeah. I mean, I haven't really thought about it before, but yeah, I'm sure he does. I mean, I don't.
Could there be any way to transfer his soul to another body, like we're trying to do with Davy?
I mean, it's possible, I would think, but I know it'd be difficult, given how his soul's entwined with his powers.
Makes sense. I just feel horrible that I went all these years and I never even considered helping him.
I mean, the more ties that the soul has to the vessel we're putting it in, the easier it would be to do, at least in theory. I mean, I have to do a lot more research, but it seems like and this would be really weird, but we'd have the easiest way to do it for Dave would be to get a sample, a DNA sample from Overdrive, and make a second body, since his soul's predisposed to being in a Dave. It'd be easier to put him into a Dave. I don't know if there's any way to clone a body of Ray, because his powers consumed all the DNA that I'm aware of.
Nick's like, so we don't need a necromancer, we need a cloning guy. A clonomancer?
I mean, that's what comes to my mind based on the research. It's the combination of well, in this case it's Frankenstein, the combination of science and magic and cross the streams and hope it doesn't blow up. But there's this level of sympathetic energies that would need to apply to make it easier and more sustainable in long term. At least that's how I understand it. I mean, I did want to talk to Gemma about it some more, because anything like this, I would need Gemma's help. I mean, before the go-to person would have been Seven.
But she's lost-ish.
Well, I appreciate the thought, and if you think of anything, just let me know.
Of course, yeah.
As soon as she's like done eating, she'll sit there for like a couple minutes for like conversation, and then she'll say, "Thank you so much for the meal," and she'll leave. She's a little rude, but she's going through it.
Don't worry, we'll find you a clonomancer.
Thank you.
And Centuria departs. Overdrive, what have you been up to for the last couple of weeks?
Overdrive has been not his usual self. He's been very withdrawn, as both Dave and Overdrive. Distracted. Just sort of, his mind is sort of churning over like what to do with the chat. Sort of, like for years not knowing who his father was, and then hating who his father was, and now he's dying and he has no powers, and should he tell Mom, who clearly lived for a long time in terror of him? And I mean, before he lost his powers, he was up to some pretty crazy stuff, like just sort of indecisive. For someone who normally just jumps in without thinking, this is kind of an awkward place to be for 2 weeks.
It's a bit of a thinker. For her part, Tracy's trying to be supportive. She's been encouraging you to take as much time as you need to off to just relax, and mull over everything you've learned. She's been real cool about the Centuria thing too, now that she understands the full context. Cody finally came back to work.
Even Cody doesn't really phase Dave for this 2 weeks.
Oh.
I know, right? That's how you know it's for real.
That's been making work really hard for Cody. Because like 90% of his joy from work is just bothering you. It's no fun if you don't care. I do what I do for a reaction. My therapist told me so. Well, that sounds pretty zen. Other than the stressing about how to tell your mom that the man she's been terrified of isn't really coming to get her anytime soon. And then we come to Resonant. What's
Yes.
Gemma been up to for the last couple of weeks?
So Gemma has been pulling a lot of double duty, triple duty. When she's not at the bookshop actually doing her day job, which she's probably cut back a little bit on her hours and let Sam kind of take over, making sure that obviously the trainings still happen so that they can kind of do everything that needs to be done. She's spending a lot of time at the Nexus, and she is kind of poring over all of the different problems that the group is having right now. So the lack of speedsters that has resulted from all of this, the Chronozoid incursion / shard problem, everything still going on with Una and Seven. So Resonant's kind of burning the candle at both ends. Even to add on to this, she's even trying to look into like the LaFondi stuff, trying to exactly figure out what the heck is, how the barrier was able to get broken down so much that they could just kind of pop over,
That's been a
even
heck
if it
of a lot.
wasn't. Yeah, even in Subterra. So I imagine like just one day she's been at the Nexus. She is at the table and she's just got all these books and tomes around her, sprawled open to various pages, bookmarks in them, or magical rituals set up to like automatically turn the page every couple of minutes. And she is just heads down, arms crossed, head completely resting against it, and she is just out.
I don't know what that noise was.
That was
Alien
Magic.
invasions.
yeah, I was gonna say it was an alien invasion.
That was the Chronozoid.
Yeah, so she is definitely like just passed out from just exhaustion because she's working herself to both ends. And no, Sam has not turned into a goth kid. Sam is probably throwing themselves into more of their work to kind of get over the trauma. I'm imagining they are having a lot of sessions with Resonant, with
You
Gemma.
did notice
to
they got
try-
a dog.
Yes.
They got a German Shepherd that they've been bringing into the store.
Yes. Oh, and
Especially
he is
any shifts that they work by themselves.
Yeah, and he is a cutie, and there is no problem with that.
Yay.
But yeah, so they've had a lot of sessions where Gemma's been trying to kind of get them through some of the trauma of that day's event. At least, she realizes that the position that Sam was put in was because of her. At the very least, though, it didn't get any worse based on what happened to Nick and the other ones of them. But yeah,
the
just
dog's
so-
name is Speed Hunter, but they call it Hunter for short.
No, not Hunter.
Oh no. But yeah, so just one day she's just completely collapsed down into her own forearms, sleeping amongst all these magical tomes at the Nexus.
Excellent. And as you're sort of resting, there are a couple of gems open on the table that have some energy moving between them. There's a few bubbling vials with various alchemical concoctions that have been put together. The books are turning themselves automatically. The library is sort of like keeping everything moving while you're in it. And you kind of wake up with a big drool stain on one of the pages that absorbs into the book as you hear Sala approaching with a tea tray and a big kettle and 2 cups.
Did I? I fell asleep, didn't I?
You did. You've been working too hard.
I feel like I have to find the answers.
Hmm.
We need to. There's so much going on.
There's a lot going on. And you, just like every other master mage I've met, are throwing themselves too far into it.
What do you mean?
Take a break. And he
took a
walks over
break.
to one end of the library, and another table opens up, and it's like a little, like, almost like a princess coffee, like a princess tea set table.
She gives him that like quizzical look, like, "How girly do you think I am?"
Come over here, we're having a tea party.
Okay. She'll walk over and she'll kind of sit down. Chair's a little small.
Is it? Oh, and when you say that, the chair gets a little bit bigger.
Oh. Yeah, right. The library.
The house is only building what it wants me to give to you, so I don't know if you've been working too hard or you're out of touch with your inner child, I don't know, but you have been doing too much, just like Adrian wouldn't hear. The library used to provide pillows when you fell asleep at the table, but then Adrian would just sleep in here all the time, so the library quit doing that.
What am I supposed to be doing then, if I'm not supposed to be working so hard?
You have to tackle one problem at a time. And he starts pouring tea into the cups. And the little
Kinda
table
level.
rumbles into like a big plate of sugar cubes opens up, and he gets the little tongs and turns.
It's hard to focus on one problem when there's so much in front of me that is basically everything I ignored for 10 years.
You can't start a journey of 10 years today. All you can do is pick up where you are now and make the world better than it was then.
I suppose.
And you can't solve every problem by yourself. You should have your friends here with you.
Everyone's going through a whole lot. I tried texting Centuria to talk, and I haven't heard back from her. And I offered help to Dave, but I haven't heard from him. I'm sure when he's ready, he'll talk. Derek, no, Derek, I kind of let slip. I think Nick's got him covered.
But you
But-
know all these things. Because you're the leader.
7 was the leader.
And 7 is gone. You're
Sort
in
of.
charge now.
It's a lot of responsibility.
It is. And if you didn't think you were up to it, you wouldn't be trying to solve everybody's problems while they weren't here.
I think you got me there.
The way I see it, all of these problems, you need to solve one at a time. You can't even read 2 books at once.
True.
Overdrive probably could.
How much of it did you remember? I'd have to ask him, though.
I don't think he remembers what he had for breakfast this morning.
I'm sure he does, actually.
That Cody's corrupting his brain.
I don't think that's possible. I think Tracy keeps a good enough hold on his psyche that Cody can't quite invade.
And Sala takes a sip of the tea. He says, so, with the idea of focusing things down, what do you want to tackle first?
Well, I think our biggest problem, that's not my immediate problem. If I was selfish, I'd want to tackle the Lafandi one, but I think we need to figure out what's going on with the speedsters. With Dave being the only one, the Freedom League's down a couple of members that could help out, and that's damaging to the civilians in the city if more supervillains come knocking while this is all going on.
So, sounds like we need to find that Chronozoid.
Yeah.
And he kind of whistles, and a bunch of the books on the table behind you sink into the table, leaving just a couple of the books up that are dealing with the Chronozoid situation. See, you have simplified your problem.
Well, you simplified my problem, Sala. I'm sure you did that for Adrian a lot.
Adrian wanted to save the entire world at once.
I think I was going down that same route, wasn't I?
Yes. Even as Master Mage, there's only so many people you can help, and you can only help the person in front of you.
Stretch yourself too thin and you can't help anybody, right?
Yes. And rely on your friends. You need to get over here and make them get to work for you.
I'm sure this place doesn't quite sit well with Bowman.
He is having problems of his own. But he will have to come to grips with that if he wants to save Seven.
Sala, are you the gossip monger?
No. It's just all of the walls in the Nexus have ears. And mouths.
And doorways to extra dimensional places?
Oh, I don't like to go down there if I can avoid it. Now, get back to work. You have dilly-dallied too long.
And she'll take the teacup, she'll take a sip from it, and she'll put her pinky out as she does so. She'll put it down, she'll stand up, and she'll give Sala a big hug and just kind of say thank you before letting go. She'll grab the teacup and go back to the pile of books that has become a lot less of a burden to look through.
You're very welcome. Now
And when
text
she
your
gets
friends.
back, and when she gets back to the thing, she'll pull out her phone and text the group and say, "Hey, I could use some help down at the Nexus. I'm trying to solve our speedster problem, and I need extra sets of hands and eyes and brains."
Team meeting.
Hopefully it's not like a house meeting. Oh, that's a different story.
Oh no.
Awesome. So yeah, a couple of weeks go by pretty easy breezy for you all. Does everybody respond to Resonance request?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Centuria is like there immediately.
Awesome.
Fletch will pull up on the pull up on the bow cycle, and then stow it away somewhere.
Part of the house turns into a garage.
Okay, actually, has Fletch been in here before when he and Seven were an item?
Yeah.
Did they sneak in the back door or something? Okay.
Sneaking through a window. Like Adrian Eldridge wouldn't know.
Yeah, but I got to put the effort in anyways. So
Somehow
he will
the-
just. Yep.
So somehow the Nexus always makes you slide down the pole to get in.
Yeah, he sees the pole again and is like, "Oh, you do remember me."
My roots go deep.
And as everybody gets there, Resident will make sure to basically give everyone a hug and say, I'm sorry. I've been trying to do this all by myself. I should have included you guys a lot sooner.
We're here when you need us.
Oh.
And with that, Mortis opens up a Tupperware tin with a bunch of cookies in it. Nick sent cookies.
Ooh.
Super cookies.
What kind?
Edibles.
Chocolate chip.
Hmm. I'll have to. Oh, the Nexus appropriates a giant pitcher of ice cold milk to go along with those cookies. Just not around the books.
We assume it's cow's milk. It's impossible to know what the house milked to get that glass.
Ew.
All the almonds.
Milk.
It's not as bad as I thought it would.
Gross.
There's a bunch of keyboard elves in the Nexus with little almond milkers.
Is that how almond milk works?
No.
It is in the Marion Nexus.
Yes, Calvin.
In the Freedom universe, almonds have nipples.
No.
I mean, it's magic, so.
They can do what they want. Centuria will sort of pull Gemma to the side and say that she's sorry for not responding to her text messages.
It's okay. She'll pull you in for a big hug and just be like, I'm here if you need me. You know that. We're friends.
And Centuria pulls back. There's like a little tear like coming down her cheek, a lone tear. She's like, I appreciate you. And then she'll go and not make eye contact with Dave and sit across the table. So what are we doing?
Well, I think the biggest problem, we've got a lot of problems, but the biggest one, and she's going to look over at Dave, is the lack of speedsters, I think. The Chronozoid is our best chance at figuring out exactly what the shards are and why they affected Dave like they did. And it might be our way to solve that problem and get Johnny Rocket and the rest of the speedsters their power back. And that will lessen some of the burden on the rest of the Freedom League for picking up the slack that the loss of those members right now is creating. And maybe it'll take away some of Una's control on the Wellspring. I'm not sure about that last bit, but I think basically getting the speedsters back their powers is the biggest issue we face right now. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, definitely. So what do we got to do?
I have been trying to find a way to A, find Glimpse, and B, get him here long enough and keep him here long enough to have him answer some questions. From what Sala said, Adrian kind of imprisoned him here in the Nexus. Chronozoids don't like to stay in one place. They're kind of like you, Dave, kind of constantly on the move. But I don't want to trap him for long. We just need answers. Hopefully we can get some from him if we can find him and then let him go back to what he wants to do.
Okay.
So, and she's going to basically spread her hands out. I've got these books have the best chance of helping us. I can't look at them all at the same time, no matter how hard I try.
So if I look at them, can you get that from me? Is that what you're saying?
I just need you guys to look at it and see if anything stands out to you. All of you. I need your opinions. I need your insights. I think I'm suffering from forest and tree syndrome. I think I know what I'm looking for, and it's clouding my judgment. I need somebody else to give it a good gander.
Sure.
All right, most important question. What song is playing during the Freedom League Studies the Books in the Nexus montage?
Oh no.
Dumb feeling.
Under pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a good learning song.
Mm-hmm.
All the songs just like left my brain when you asked that.
Huh.
I know that feeling.
I-
Except it's
I
whenever
don't do
somebody
that.
asks me a fun fact about myself. I'm like, I don't know who I am.
What do I do?
I've not been present for my entire life.
Fun fact about myself. Whenever you ask me about a fun fact about myself, it shorts out my brain.
Train derailment. Come back later.
Awesome. So, you all sort of dive into the books and start trying to solve the speedster problem. And that will take us into our break. You guys sort of go into this montage for the better part of the last 2 weeks, working together, trying to get as much information as you can about this particular situation. And we're going to go ahead and step away for a couple of seconds just to grab some water, grab a snack if you want one, watch the ads on our carousel to see what other games we have going on, and we will see you back here in just a few minutes.